Man, Kane Hardin really knows how to do a chokehold. Hey everyone, it's Boogeyman Ben. Hope everyone's doing well and everyone's having a nice weekend. Today's video is going to be talking about the horror convention that I went to today at the Regency Ballroom in San Francisco, California. It is being put on by Kirk Von Hammett from Metallica. It's called Kirk Von Hammett's Fear Festevil. This was held at the Regency Ballroom. I believe it started on Thursday night. It's kind of got a rock and roll horror theme mix, but Kirk Von Hammett is also a huge horror memorabilia collector. He put a book out several years ago that I always meant to pick up that showcased all of the horror collectibles that he has. And it's an amazing book, and it's one book that I will be trying to find and pick up. I was trying to see if they had it at the convention today, but I didn't see anybody that was selling it. But on top of the fact that he had a good portion of his collectibles on display, you also had some excellent vendors there today and some really excellent celebrities that were there. I got to meet two horror icons, to not only myself but many people that are fans of horror films. And I also want to share some stories, also showcase some of the things that I picked up. And I hope everyone looks forward to this video, and I hope everyone enjoys it. And as always, please stay tuned. Now this was the complimentary bag that you got when you went to get the information about all the goings on at the festival. It's got Boris Karloff, his famous image as the mummy on the front. I heard they were giving out other ones that had like Bela Lugosi as Dracula, and I believe the other one was Frankenstein. Boris Karloff as Frankenstein. But it's a really nice bag. Inside there's some stickers, and there was also this little booklet that talked about the festival. So it gives a little bit of a breakdown of like just Kurt's being a fan of horror, and just all the different levels within the Regency Ballroom and what each level would showcase. It also shows vendor location as well as the celebrities that were going to be on hand. It's like Greg Nicotero, Slash, Genie, PJ Souls, Heather Langkamp. I mean, just lots of terrific icons within the horror industry. Now, the main reason I went to this convention was because the one, the only, the man, Kane Hardin, who is the only actor to play Jason more than once, he played him in parts 7, 8, 9, and 10, was going to be there. And a couple years back in 2009, Kane Hardin was supposed to be at WonderCon at the Moscone Center. It was the same year that I first met C.J. Graham, who, as everybody knows, is my favorite Jason and my favorite Jason movie, Friday the 13th Part 6. But as well as C.J. and Kane, Warrington Gillette was supposed to be at that convention too, and the only one that ended up being there was C.J. And I was just so excited to meet Kane. And he's an awesome guy. I was really just so happy that he was everything I thought he would be. Very friendly. I ran into my buddy Chris at the convention, and so we both talked to him for a while, and it was a lot of fun. I really had it was just a really great time talking to him, because I mean, he I've always said in many videos that Kane is the reason that Jason stayed alive in the years where Friday the 13th franchise went dark. Between the years of 1993 and 2002, there was no talk of Friday the 13th. I mean, the Freddy vs. Jason film was in development, but there was no talk of new Friday the 13th films. But Kane was always going to the conventions and speaking the character up, and, you know, he was Jason. And as much as I love Derek Mears as Jason, and I thought Ken Kirsinger did a fine job as Jason and Freddy vs. Jason, I always felt that Kane was robbed, being not included in the Freddy vs. Jason cast and not playing Jason after he was the one that was sort of keeping the spirit of Jason alive. And I just thought it was so unfair what happened to him. But he's such a nice guy. The one thing I'm trying to do, and I've said it in a couple of other videos that I've done after I've gone to conventions and met other Friday the 13th alumni, is I'm trying to get them all to sign the Crystal Lake Memories Complete History of Friday the 13th book by Peter Bracke. I was able to get Kane to sign this. Hang on a second. And so I've had CJ Graham sign it. I've had Tom Fridley sign it. Ari Lehman, who played Jason in Part 1, and Tom Fridley played Court in Part 6. I've had Dominic Bassir, who played Joey in Part 5. Ginny, played by Amy Steele in Part 2. And now I have the great Kane Hardin, who said, "To Ben and Jackie, you're next. Kane Hardin, Jason, 789, and X." So awesome that he signed that. And then I also got him to sign this picture, which is just the best. I mean, that makeup is just so fucking awesome. And I've never seen this picture before, or a still of this before. So, and he signed it to my wife and I again. It says, "To Ben and Jackie, watch your backs, Kane Hardin, Jason." And unfortunately, my wife wasn't able to go to the convention with me. But like I said, I ran into my buddy Chris, and we had a lot of fun. And he actually took the pictures of me with Kane, with the exception of the one where I'm being choked out by Kane. I actually got that one later in the day, and somebody else that was hanging out in the area was able to take that picture. But I have to say, it was a true honor meeting Kane, and as I left the convention, I went back up to him and just said, you know, it was an honor meeting you. He was very nice, very gracious, and it's something that was on my horror bucket list, and I'm glad that I'm able to cross that off, because it was a true joy to meet him. Someone else that I was really looking forward to meeting was the beautiful Heather Langkamp, who played Nancy in Nightmare on Elm Street 1, 3, and Wes Craven's New Nightmare. I had a crush on Heather Langkamp big time when I was a kid. Of course, the first Nightmare on Elm Street came out and I was like 10. I didn't see it until I was about 11 or 12. I can't remember. But yeah, I mean, it was about 11 or 12 that I saw it, and I had a crush on her, and I loved the character of Nancy. And after Nancy's character left the series in Part 3, she was only in the first 1 and 3 as that character, whereas in Wes Craven's New Nightmare she played herself. I was always disappointed when that character left or was killed off in Nightmare on Elm Street 3. So yeah, I was always disappointed, and I never felt like any actress after Nightmare on Elm Street 3, even though I loved Lisa Wilcox as Alice, I just always was a big fan of the Nancy character and felt like no one else ever lived up to that character going forward in the sequels. She was a very nice woman. My buddy Chris and I talked to her for a while, and what was really cool is that I mean, she was just very gracious. She took several pictures with me and signed this picture for me. And I'll pull it out into the light a little bit. It says 910, Never Sleep Again, Heather Langkamp. And she's still just as beautiful now as she was back then. What a sweet person, and it was an honor to have met her. Another thing I can cross off my horror bucket list. Two other excellent items I was able to pick up were these posters. They had some really great places that were selling posters, and the woman I bought this from, I wish I would have gotten her name, but she was such an awesome lady, and we talked for quite a bit about horror and Friday the 13th, and she was just a really cool person. And I hope if I see her at another convention, I can buy some more stuff off of her. I got both of these posters for $20, and I've always loved that poster from Friday the 13th Part 5. This is the Spanish version of that poster. But I remember when I was a kid and this movie was opening, in the newspaper, in our local newspaper where I lived, this was the image that they had. I never liked the VHS cover, which became the Americanized version of that poster, where it's kind of like the hockey match just looks off, and it always had like the red light behind it. I never liked that poster that much. I always loved this poster. I never understood why they didn't use this poster for the VHS and DVDs that they released of the film. And then this poster is for Chrome Skull, and as people have known from past videos, I love the Laid to Rest films. I love the Chrome Skull character. Hopefully I get to meet the actor that played him, Nick Principe, I believe is his name, and it would be awesome to meet him, and I'm hopeful that they'll make another Chrome Skull film. I just absolutely love the character, and both these posters are just amazing. And now the big problem for me, or dilemma that I'm going to have, is trying to find out where to put them. The final thing I want to showcase is this amazing clay figure that I bought. It was made by, he goes by clayguy.com. From 1992 to 2012, 20 years of handmade horror. This is Peter Vincent from Fright Night, and it even comes with a little placard that I can put in front of him. And this guy had just the most amazing handmade clay figurines he did. I'll show pictures of this on the video, but I'm also going to post the entire album of pictures that I took, because I took quite a few pictures. I'm going to post the album on my Facebook page. So I'll put a link down below to the Boogeyman Ben's Horror Zone Facebook page, and everybody should check out the pictures from this amazing convention. Getting back to this figure, he had some amazing clay figures of characters that you cannot buy figures of. As everybody knows, I'm a huge fan of Fright Night, huge fan of Roddy McDowall as the Peter Vincent character. And my buddy Chris was with me when we went to check out this guy's stuff. And I was torn between this and a handmade Victor Crowley. I thought that would have been cool to have Kane Hardin sign, but I kept looking at this one and I kept going. As much as I loved the Victor Crowley, I was like, I love Peter Vincent, and when am I ever going to find a Peter Vincent figure? I doubt they'll ever make one officially, because these movies are old. I mean, Fright Night is coming up on 30 years. And I'm doubtful that they'll go back and make a figure of him, so I snatched this one up for $40, and I think it's actually a really well made. It comes with a base. He's got a little peg that goes down into the stand there. So see right there, and then you just put him right back in. And I think it's an amazing creation, and I was so happy to pick this up for $40. The Victor Crowley one was, I believe, $50. He had some that were $65, but I didn't see any higher than that. But he had all kinds. He had Pennywise from It. He had Zelda and Gage from Pet Sematary. He had Norman Bates. He had Leslie Vernon from Behind the Mask. He had, I think he had the killer from Sorority House Massacre. He had the fisherman from I Know What You Did Last Time. Just an amazing collection. I wish if I would have had more money, I would have bought probably 3 or 4 more of them. So I will be looking him up on his website when I get some more money, because I do want the Victor Crowley one badly. I thought that one was awesome, and I might even get the Gage and Zelda one too. But yeah, this guy's going to be getting some business from me. I just think this is an amazing figure. I think he captured the costume and the likeness of Peter Vincent very well. And I'm very proud to have this in my collection. So yeah, that's about it. Just wanted to share my thoughts on the convention today, and it was such a fun time going. I've never been to such a fun horror convention in my life. There are just not a lot of conventions like this in the Bay Area. The one thing I do want to say is that it was kind of, it wasn't as packed as I thought it should have been, and I don't know if it was in advertising or maybe a lot of people just weren't aware of it, but it was fucking fantastic. And there's so many conventions that are going on back east. You know, they have Rock and Shock and Horror Hound, and I know some of them happen down in LA, but there's none that happen up here in Northern California. There's none. I mean, talking to Heather Langkamp, she said she heard that there's going to be some that, you know, there's some that happen in like Portland and Seattle, but this is the San Francisco Bay Area, people. Why aren't there more horror conventions here? It just makes me kind of sick. There's such a huge fan base of horror films in this area, and there's no horror conventions here. And I think it's because people don't know that there's a... People just that are putting these things on don't realize that there's a demand for it. And I think that we need to be vocal about it. And I know one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to let the people that put this show on know how much I appreciated it, because I really hope that they make this an annual event. I heard Kirk Von Hammett does this next year, because if he does, I will be there, and I'm going to bring as many people as I can, because this was the type of horror convention I want to go to. I've been to the Miss Misery convention in Sacramento, and it's okay, but there was more people at that one. And I'm like, in San Francisco, I thought this thing would be packed. I thought the lines would be around, you know, around the room to meet Kane Hardin and Greg Nicotero and Tom Savini and some of these other people. I mean, I wanted to meet them too. I just didn't have all the money to meet them as well. And I went there to meet Kane and to meet Heather. But there was no one there hardly. I mean, people eventually started showing up, but I was just surprised at how empty it was. And my buddy Chris was the same way. We were just like, how come there's not more people here? And I really just hope that there's more horror conventions around here, because I was just so happy to go to something that celebrated what I love so much. And I really hope that there's more. I know there is going to be a horror convention next month in Sacramento. I think it's called the Twisted Horror Convention or something like that. But I will be going to that one. And I'm still contemplating if I'm going to go to the Sacramento Comic Con. Because there are going to be a lot of cast members from The Walking Dead there, and I really would like to meet Laurie Holden and Michael Rooker, and there's just some really cool people that are going to be, John Bernthal, who played Shane. I mean, there's just going to be a great amount of people there, and I really would like to go and meet those people. So I got a lot of conventions coming up, and I will be doing videos on all of them. I would have shot some video footage today, but they wouldn't allow video footage to be done. That was one of the rules. You couldn't shoot videos. So at least that's what they said, so I listened to them. But I did take quite a few pictures, probably over about 100 pictures. And what I'm going to do is, everybody check out the Facebook page, Boogeyman Ben's Horrors on Facebook. I'm going to put the link down below, and I'll put all the pictures in there, and everybody can check them out. I want to say thank you to my friend Chris, who met up with me at the convention. It was great hanging out with you, buddy, and I hope we can hang out again and do more things like this, and hopefully there's some more conventions we can hang out at. And thank you everyone for supporting this channel, and thank you so much for watching the video, and stay tuned for some more. I'm going to be catching up on some YouTube videos this weekend, and I hope everyone looks forward to that. So everyone has a great evening. Take it easy. Peace.